Hey, what is up, everybody? Scott Newby here from Friday Night AV and Living It with Scott and Cat podcast. So, one of the things that we cover on our podcast channel is home theater, home audio, home video. We're very music and movie centered family. So, I'm going to start doing some more mini episodes. We're getting asked this a lot about what to do my own room in my house. Don't want to bring in, somebody to spend all this money to design a room, set up a room. We just want some simple place to hang out, a little escape from just the regular house. And when you walk into these rooms, you kind of get that sense of, oh, we're somewhere super cool, or we're somewhere, like in a movie theater. And it's just a really nice feeling to have. So in Cat and I's personal theater, we took a 14 by 16, rough estimate, just because there's a little like closet that our water meter's in and the doorway comes in. But anyway, we took an old 14 by 16 area of the basement before we moved in the house. We rehabbed most of the house ourselves, and we took this little spot in the basement to just create a space basically for me to do what I wanted, and then the whole family could enjoy it when I was done. So we're going to go over a lot of that in the coming episodes of these mini episodes. Going to start keeping them like around 10 or 12 minutes long, and just talk about speaker placement, very basic home theater setup, like just wiring speakers, receivers, and then we'll work our way up to get into some more advanced stuff. So just a quick overview of the room. Now this room, I'll share some pictures later on. It was concrete floor, concrete walls, and just kind of an old dingy basement before we rehabbed the house. And it didn't cost a lot to just frame out the room. Depending on what equipment you put in it, you can, it's any budget that you want to do with. I'm in a 14 by 16 foot space. I was able to fit 4 seats, 132-inch screen, a bunch of speakers and subwoofers, which we'll go over that later. I'll just kind of give you a quick overview of the room of what we did with an unused space in our basement that you could do in your basement, or that you could do in a spare bedroom or an empty room in the house, or you could even do a media center room to where it's multi-purpose. Our last house, I use the system every day. Now we have a 2-channel system in our living room that gets used almost every day. The theater, unfortunately, just because of our busy lifestyles, doesn't get used very much. But if you do it in like a living room and you can make it make sense, and the rest of the family don't mind speakers being in certain places. I know some of our wives and partners don't like big boxes everywhere. I lucked out with the 2-channel setup upstairs because she really wanted those. But regardless, my personal opinion is the media rooms, especially with kids and busy lifestyles, in your living room, family room, it's a little bit easier to justify the cost. I did the theater because I get to put whatever I want in there in the exact placement it needs to be. And the theater is definitely a better experience if you're able to do that and don't have to work around like certain furniture or cosmetic restrictions. So this is our personal theater. I'll slowly pan the camera if I can. So we just painted the walls a dredge gray and the ceiling black, and we were able to do a 7.1.4. I got a bunch of subwoofers in here. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that, but I was able to do a full Atmos setup in this room. Very immersive, just feels like you're at the movie theater, even better. That's 132-inch screen, DIY, built it myself. Very simple for this project. I just needed the screen to be a certain size and cover a certain area. So we'll talk a lot about, like I said, speaker placement, receiver selection. You don't have to go completely crazy with any of this. You can pick up some really nice used gear. There's other good companies you start. My suggestion is, if you're going to DIY, get involved with like AVS forums, get involved on some Facebook groups like Home Theaters for Everyone, the Youth Man group, Home Theater Gurus. If you haven't checked out Stephen Smith's channel, Home Theater Gurus, he's giving out so much awesome free information of dialing and calibrating stuff. He's a much better teacher than I am. I'll give credit where it's due. Early in the game, I've been in this my whole life, but setting up this room, he was certainly a big help with me dialing in so many subwoofers in this room. So pretty much an Atmos setup for the people thinking about doing this. an Atmos setup. You have your bed layer of speakers, like your left, center, right, your surrounds, your back surrounds, front wides. We'll get into all that in later episodes. But the Atmos part of it is the overhead speakers. And like if you have airplanes going by or birds flying over or anything going on up top, it just brings a more immersive feel to the experience. We're going to go over all this in future episodes. I'm going to try to drop a mini episode every week. I'm really trying, as if you're not subscribed to this channel, you'll find I'm very community driven. A lot of my special guests are people that want to hear from, or people that offer very good advice to the community, or speaker manufacturer, or somebody in the industry, just somebody trying to just bring forth some good information to the community. So I believe that we have one of the best communities out there. I host multiple events to show home theater setups and how stuff can look or how stuff's set up. The thing that we have to offer here is, like I said, a 14 by 16 foot area. I believe a lot of people have something close like that to work with in their house, whether it's an extra bedroom or a basement or a living room, and you can create just an amazing experience. And we're going to go over a low budget, a medium budget, a high budget. I believe that we did a lot of this room on about a medium budget. That's all relative, I guess, because literally some people spent more on their projectors than I did on this whole room. I did spend a lot of money on some of this stuff, but this room has been a work in progress, literally, for this particular room for like the last 5 years. So we'll talk some about room treatments, how important they are, and we'll also talk about projectors. We'll talk about if you want to go from preamp to power amps, talk about transducers, near-field subwoofers, physical media, streaming. We're going to dive into a lot of that. Just want to bring maybe my own perspective into things. Doesn't mean if I'm right or wrong. I've had a nice experience with a lot of this stuff, so I'm just sharing my thoughts. If you guys are just starting rooms or looking to do something different with your room, maybe an experience that I had or something I have to say will give you a little bit of insight. So pretty much this is our space, and next week I'll start digging into like how we framed out the room, why we framed it out the way that we did, and we'll start talking about some speaker placement. This is going to start off as a very beginner-ish video, because I understand that a lot of this can be intimidating to people. Like, I don't even know what to buy or where to start, or I don't want to dump a bunch of money into this. And we'll talk about the used market. We'll talk about just stuff you can go grab at Best Buy if you have to. And we're just going to cover everything, a lot of questions and answers. You have some questions, I'll do my best certainly to get back to you guys. So cool. All right, guys, like I told you, we're going to keep this under 10 minutes and just a nice quick little start. But this is our DIY home theater, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content coming. So, all right, guys, have a good day, and I'll be back on here next week, and we'll start with episode 1.